Everybody put themselves on mute, and we are going to start our team training. So thank you everybody for arriving, and thank you for those that are going to be listening to this recording later. It's so great to see everybody. It's so great to see everybody. So great to see everybody. I get to see some people on Neora University and some people on training. And the social media training, I just want to say to everybody that participated in the social media training, the 10-week course that we offered as a team, just, adding a bit of information before and adding a bit of information after. And even if you just popped on for 1 or 2, or if you stuck through the whole 10-week, which congratulations for those that did the whole 10 weeks. It was really, yeah, Laura's like, it was the bomb. It was really, for myself who knew some, I just grew exponentially. Like I really just felt like I grew as a person. I felt like I grew not only in my business in Neora, just in my abilities. It's like when you get another kind of tool in your toolkit. And for me, I wasn't raised in the generation of technology. I think that's pretty clear. And so just really pushing myself. This whole situation where we kind of, went online within 24 hours or something. It was really forced. When you get forced to be uncomfortable, I was really forced to be uncomfortable. I shared this with one of our brand partners last night and their sponsor. We were having a late night chat into 10 o'clock at night. And they were talking about how, nervous they are really moving into the world of technology and Facebook and Instagram. And I'm like, oh, do you want to know how many times I cried in the last 90 days? They're like, really? I'm like, oh, are you kidding yourself? You're kidding yourself, right? Even with what I did know, just to have to go that much further on top of, the evolution of what's been happening around in the world was really stretching. And so really hats off to the people that stretch themselves to get on, stay on, and be on through that whole process. Even though sometimes, you could only capture maybe 10% of what was going on, or you move the needle. But what I believe is that everybody who came on and stayed on, listened to what I did, really moved the needle. And one of the things for me, only sharing this as a 55-year-old woman, is that one of the silver linings to taking that social media, and we're going to run it again. We're going to run it again. There's been a lot of new brand partners, and we're going to do a rotational run of it. We're going to take a couple of weeks break in between because we all need a break. But we're going to start it again. Is for me, what it did for me as a woman who was not raised doing my business that way, who has a 26-year-old daughter and a 16-year-old son, and soon enough to be that's what I'm getting called. My daughter's having a baby, is that it actually made me feel very current to be able to talk in the language of how people are doing business, right? It's like whether I ever wanted to market to millennials or not market to millennials, whatever I wanted to do, it actually gave me a sense of business freedom. And it actually made me feel like I was more current. And I look at the generation above me. I look at, my mother, for example. My mother could not come on to the Easter Zoom dinner that we had because she doesn't own a computer, and there's this gap of technology, and it's really easy to be scared to not learn that, because it is hard to teach an old dog new tricks. That saying didn't come out of nothing, right? It is difficult. It's like rewiring the brain. And sometimes I felt like my brain was getting completely rewired. And sometimes I even went on to those social media trainings and I'm like, you know what, today I'm just going to sit back and listen to what Amber says, because I'm still working on the stuff from last week. And so I really just want to commend everybody that has done a little bit of shift. We're going to talk some about Facebook tonight. And I'm not, saying all this because of what I'm going to teach. I just want to say this because I've watched this team. I'm incredibly proud of the stretching that we've all done in the last 90, 120 days, whatever it is, to really, the buzzword now in business is pivot. People had to pivot their business, pivot their thinking, learn new things. My gosh, I've got like all new systems on my paper go. I'm like, I got new systems and paper systems, and I had to create new files, and we're learning, and me and Caroline and Waymatea have been talking, and what are you doing and how are you doing and how can we collaborate, and really just restructuring and really pivoting. And everybody's had to do that to a certain degree. So I'm incredibly proud of our team and what we've done. I'm really grateful that Jeff has been obviously a phenomenal founder and leader and being able to teach us to help teach you. But there is something to be said for the fact that we joined an e-commerce business, and then something to be said about the fact that we were able to at least have that opportunity to take the tools that were already in place. And you've heard enough of that on team trainings in our university, so I'm not going to repeat it. But I just really wanted to say, from someone that was watching and learning from above at the same pace as everybody else, and grabbing those new skills and implementing, and still are, this is still new learning for not just myself, but for the majority of you. And, the implementation, I know enough that when you put something into activity and then you start to see the results and then you start to add it and tweak it, it can take months to tweak it. It's like when I first did my first show, my first trade show. And then, what did I say to people and what response did I get? And then I changed it up a little bit and changed it up a little bit. And it took over the course of a couple of years to get it into being a fine-tooth comb, running, smooth machine where I knew what to do, duplicate that, and learn that and do that for myself. And so we're all in that process somewhere. So honestly, give yourself a break, cut yourself some slack. You've had to, unless you're 20, you've probably had to rewire some neurons, and it's difficult. So really, honestly, that's what we're doing, layering new neuronal pathways. That's a whole other conversation we're not going to have. So congratulations, Jay. Go buy yourself a bouquet of flowers, honestly. So that's what I'm going to say about that. The two things that I kind of want to cover in team training tonight is just some fundamentals, and also welcoming. There has been a large amount of new people join our organization. I'm really enjoying the new calls. I'm really enjoying talking to people at that new place in their business, whether they're new, and then that new place in their business, whether they're new, somebody who's got somebody underneath them, and all that new stuff that's going on right now. There's a lot of you that are new, and you hear it when you come in, maybe, but I really want you to just grasp the idea that you've come in at a very special time. One, it's been more difficult, and two, it's been easier. Really, it's a very interesting, it's an interesting sense of polarity, because we have found a new way that is actually making the business yield more with the same amount of energy, using the platform of social media and other, compared to when people came in earlier. But you've also come in at a very funky time because of what's happening in the world. And so it's really interesting, and really people are growing exponentially, and you don't even know it. You're like, oh yeah, this is great. Yeah, getting this many customers, doing this many things with a lot less effort. So that's been really interesting as well. So I wanted to talk about some of the fundamentals if you are a new brand partner. And me and Caroline and Waymatea are making new videos based on our conversations. I did, and Caroline did, so I'm not going to go through the Facebook video that was just sent. It's been sent out in the international thread twice. Please take the time to watch that, because we're not going to review that here. That literally tells you what buttons to push. Caroline pulled up her phone, said, push this button, hold, paste, copy here. It's not difficult. What I want to say is, after you watch that video, if you feel like you need more information, that's okay. Call your sponsor, the person who brought you in, or the person's upline, to get some clarification and tweaking on that. And Waymatea is going to answer the number one big question is, what do I say when I invite people on Messenger? And she's going to handle that on the call tonight. So Caroline and I have done a really great training. It's a 20-minute video, so I'm going to leave that with you. So we're going to talk a little bit about Facebook tonight. The Zoom calendar came out, and you'll see on that Zoom calendar the Neora overviews. I know that we used to call them RRPs for those that have been around for a while. Just remember, RRPs and overviews are the same thing, Neora presentation. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, because as we are drilling down, and I'm going to give you some crazy numbers that are going to want to make you do Facebook parties every day, all day. I don't want us to forget about the power of the Zoom. And I'll tell you how I'm defining that for myself. So Zoom is not new to us. Clearly it's new to the world, because they've gone from 10 million subscribers before COVID to 300 million now. Okay, so that would have been a company to invest in. So we've done Zoom for a long time. This is how we open countries. This is how we have presentations where someone's joined the business and they have friends from all over the world, and people have come in and done their business presentation by Zoom. And I still feel that there is incredible value in doing those presentations, incredible value. And the reason why is because we're doing slideshow presentation. We're focusing a lot more on the business and economics and talking statistics and business statistics and showing them the back office that they get and talking about the car and talking about the trip. And it really is a full professional business presentation alongside a full, extensive talking about pretty well every product that we have. And so there's people that you're going to want to still send to those RRPs. It could be someone who came to a Facebook party who's looking for more, but it also is, so for example, I've been talking to a few colleagues on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is a professional platform, right? People go on there that have businesses, that are looking for business and willing to share and collaborate. I'm like, hey, I'll listen to your presentation, you listen to my presentation. Then I don't take people from LinkedIn and ask them to come into a Facebook party. I take people from LinkedIn and say, hey, I'd love for you to see my business presentation and I'm willing to listen to yours, whatever it is that I'm doing. Or I have someone that I've talked to that they've had their sample, or I've taken them kind of where they've gone. Now it's time for them to hear the full meal deal. Or I'm talking to somebody and I'm talking to them about opening up a country. So I had somebody on an RRP who I'd met through LinkedIn, whose whole background was from Brazil, and they happen to be living here in Vancouver doing a very different job. And I'm like, look at, you have out of country experience. I'd love for you to come and listen and see what we're doing when we move into new countries. And so then I'm going to take them to that kind of presentation. So as much as we're driving down for Facebook, and it is a phenomenal drive down, and I'm going to talk about that, I don't want you to forget about those presentations. Those presentations are also really good learning and training for you guys. So particularly if you're new, you get to hear me talk about, IV moisture patches. You can hear about Amber talking it in your back office, but you're hearing me talk about it. You're hearing Caroline talk about it. You're hearing Waymatea talk about it. And some of you guys that are leaders are also going to start talking about it soon too. We haven't just told you that. That's yet to come. So you guys are just going to start joining in and doing that kind of stuff too. And you will eventually all be doing that presentation yourself one day. You will have your own Zoom presentations. So it's very, very good teaching. For me, that's all we had when I started. I did no presentations. My sponsor did them for 6 months. The first time I got up there in front of people and did it myself was the last time she ever did a presentation for me, right? And then Waymatea, she just thought she was supposed to do them on her own, and she just started like the week after I left Edmonton. So it's a very good training forum, but it's also really a much higher ratio of closing on the business than maybe just popping someone into a half an hour Facebook. They're not saying they're not signing up from the business on the Facebook. I'm just saying it's more thorough. And so you have to decide when you're talking to your prospect where you want them to go, okay? Where you want them to go. So the idea around, so I'm just gonna leave that there, and I'm gonna come back to talking about the Facebook parties. So Facebook parties, and again, the video is going to tell you why you want to do this and how you want to do this, but I'm going to kind of drop some numbers on you that are pretty shocking. So for me, from someone who, I was raised in a house with a mother that sold Tupperware. I was raised in a house of a mother who did other direct sales companies. I also read one of the Bibles of direct sales, and that's Mary Kay Ash's story. And if you don't know who she is, she was the founder of Mary Kay. And I loved reading that book. And you're kind of going back a generation, but what we're experiencing on Facebook, in my opinion, is exactly what they experienced, 30 years ago in the industry. When, Mary Kay Ash decided to get some women together and sell them this product that her father was using to make the leather saddles softer. Really, it started off like that. And so the power of getting, at that time, women together in a room and letting those women support a woman and support a friend in business, that was the beginning of the world of home parties. Now, you can imagine, I don't know if you can imagine, but going back to the land of Tupperware, going back into the land of Mary Kay Ash and, Mary Kay, and all of those original companies, it was an explosion and it was a movement. It really was a movement. And I know because I've read it, I've seen it, I was in it. My mom used to drag Tupperware and me to the parties. I've seen more orange peelers than anyone ever wants to see. So it was really a movement, and that is what we are experiencing right now. So congratulations to all of you, because we are not like, we are at the beginning of a movement. We're figuring out the systems and doing the home party model in an e-platform, which happens to be these Facebook parties right now, is the beginning of what I believe a 5 to 10 year massive explosion of a financial revenue stream never to be seen. That's why right now it's really hard to stay grounded. That's why, me and Caroline and Waymatea were on a call yesterday. I'm like, okay, it's like, it just feels like mass opportunity. And so if you feel like flooded, if you feel like, you're kind of like this and there's so much to learn and so much to do, it's okay. It's okay. We're experiencing that as well. And what I believe is it's going to get into rhythm and it's going to get into a system, and we are having exponential growth. I do not believe that growth, people are like, oh, when people go back out to working, living, what have you, that's going to stop. It's not going to stop. It's going to shift. It's not going to stop. It's going to shift, right? Just like the amount of people that are never going to go back into an office. And so I believe that we're at the beginning of something pretty spectacular. So cut yourself some slack. Don't panic about having to learn it now. It's going to be here for a long time to come. Now, I'm going to give you an example of what happens when a group collaborates like we are doing right now. And I'm ever so grateful. I just got to say, I'm so grateful for Waymatea and Caroline, because really the structure that's being built and the support that's being built for you guys, I'm telling you, there's it's a pretty beautiful thing. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the power of numbers. Now, some of you may or may not know what Silver National Marketing Director means. So National Marketing Director, you've probably heard that. You've heard, I think there's now 8 of us in Canada that are National Marketing Directors. We always give you the statistics. If you listen to the success CDs, especially from the way back, 2 calls a day to 2 new people, 5 days a week for 6 years will automatically, mathematically make you a National Marketing Director. So National Marketing Director is something that people really do love if they're looking for more than just, not gonna say just, I don't like that word. If they're looking for more income replacement, high level enhancement, retirement money. So it's a definite 6-figure income. You're getting a very well-funded Lexus above and beyond what you hit when you hit Lexus level, because the higher up the ranks to go, the more money you get, so you can get a better car, just in case you didn't know that. You're pretty well guaranteed the trip because of just the volume that you're producing, of a trip or 2, all expenses paid, airfare accommodations. Our trip that's coming up that we're all doing double trip volume did last month, and we're continuing this month. So you're getting the trip, you're getting the car, you're getting the perks, you're getting all sorts of special kind of things that, you get to go to the conference early, you get a special gift, all those kind of funky things that happen with National Marketing Director. Silver National Marketing Director, by nature, is about $250,000 residually a year. So when someone says they want to go from 6 figures to $250,000, it's pretty cool. Now, there was a group in Mexico that got together, and they decided that they were going to come together as a group, right? And they were going to all do Facebook parties. Now, what I'm going to tell you happened to this woman is going to happen to people all underneath her. So just because I'm talking about one person that hit silver, don't think that every single person in there that wants silver. Some people don't. Some people are looking for $1,000, $2,000 a month. Some people are looking, like, it doesn't matter. But if you can see how this woman hit silver, you'll see how you can hit whatever you want. So now there's always exceptions to the rules, but this is a great example of a collaborative Facebook. I'm almost too nervous to tell you the numbers. I mean, Puyo was saying the same thing. I'm almost too nervous to tell you these numbers because it seems kind of crazy, but this is the power of compound interest. I just got off a call with someone that's known me for 32 years and knew me when I was an entrepreneur and knew me when I owned my own business, and knows me now. And we talked about the difference between business ownership and compound interest, right? My traditional business ownership was like putting money into the bank that never got any interest. This is building interest. It compounds with or without me. So this woman's name was Maria, and she's from Mexico. And in January, now I don't know how long she's been with the company, a number of years, right? So so in January, her volume per month was 65,000. Incredible, right? So she'd been with us a number of years, and her volume was 65,000 in the month. So they're doing parties, Facebook parties. By February, that grew to 95,000. Okay. By March, it grew to 153,000. So in January, she was a regional marketing director. In March, she went to national marketing director. So she doubled. Okay. In April, it went to 167,000. So, went up 14,000. Sounds like a lot, but it's, could have been a little sale here, a little sale here. But then she gets to May. So you look at that March to April time where things were starting to really hit in the world of what was going on in this shift. By May, she was at 383,000 in volume. Now, I want to let you know that Silver National Marketing Director is 255,000. And if at 255,000, you're somewhere around that $250,000, this or sure, we can pretty well be assured where she's at. That's the power of compounding, and they're solely using Facebook. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't have an Instagram account, doesn't mean that they're not talking to their friend, doesn't mean that they're not talking to their girlfriend, doesn't mean they're not talking to their sisters, doesn't mean that they're not talking to our traditional. I don't want you to forget about that either, and I'm going to talk about that next. I wanted to give you those numbers to really teach and inspire and motivate you to understand that this is possible. This is possible. We're talking Mexico. People, when we open Mexico, people are like, oh my gosh, how are they going to afford product? There is such a vast difference in the economic platform there, from a revenue. It's like really, really this or really, really high. And the middle in between, it's really, really tough, right? And so people like, I don't even know why we're opening in Mexico, but Mexico's growth last month was 150%. Canada was 86%, and the US was 66%. Okay. So I say that too, because I really want to inspire you, even if you're just, for me, I took some time out today to call and use Waymatea's formula for the audio message, because I was doing texting. Like, I'm still coachable. The number one way to a bigger paycheck is being coachable, right? And so I did that, and I measured myself, and it was 1 minute per audio, right? I was being a little more personable, and I was saying that it was 1 minute per audio, and then I was sending a little text afterwards. And so in 10 minutes, I could send 10 invitations to the Facebook party that's happening tomorrow at noon in 10 minutes. So the reason why I tell you these numbers is because as you start to build a team, and you're all going to have a team that's going to be able to make that kind of movement. It may not be next month. Who cares? Who cares? This isn't a race, right? This isn't a race. This is just an opportunity. And you get to do it at your own pace and your own time. But it just gives you that idea about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, being able to just add somebody or send an invitation or, rely on your upline to help you. And so that's the power of these Facebook parties, is just having really people come in. And I know that Way's going to talk a little bit more about it as well. But I don't want to duplicate the video that me and Caroline sent about why and how. I just want to share with you someone's story on what happened when collaboratively people got together. And so even though we're saying, wow, look at her, what you don't know is she didn't get to where she was without a whole bunch of people getting cars, a whole bunch of people getting trips, a whole bunch of people getting bonuses, a whole bunch. It's never what happens on top. It's never what happens on top. It's great to see that, and everyone gives their accolades, because obviously leadership is cool, but everybody had to get what they wanted for her to get what she wanted. And I don't even think she probably even saw that coming. You can't go from that rank to, it's just like, it would have been mind boggling, right? Just like you guys saw in New York University. So you saw Michaela hit Silver National Marketing Director in Canada. And that was because, Melissa underneath her hit National Marketing Director, right? National Marketing Director is 125,000. Melissa was a regional marketing director 1 month, the month before. So she doubled. And why did that happen? I'll tell you why. Because one woman went to Melissa Finch's Instagram asked her about her flooring. She got into a conversation with her, got her over to a Facebook party. That woman came in, got excited, joined the company in 4 days after inviting all her people, hit team director, which pushed Melissa, which pushed Michaela, right? That's just kind of how it works. So you've got this leadership here in this team that's willing to come down and help you. And it just raises the bar for everybody. So this is a everybody party, right? And so I just wanted to share that kind of with you. And there were some notes that I wanted to, so that's where so again, I just wanted to share that kind of with you. So I really believe these are unprecedented times. There is going to be probably a lot more Facebook rejection than if you call your friends. So please just be cool with it. What I say about Facebook rejection is when you send someone an invitation, or you send an audio message, or you send a message and you never hear from them again. The biggest thing that I can tell you if you're new is please don't take it personal, because the rejection number that you're going to get from sending out messages on social media, because it's not your sister, your brother-in-law, your soccer coach, your doctor, your dentist, your girlfriend's girlfriend, like whatever, because it's not people that are in your warm circle by nature. And you can start with them if you want, your warm people on Facebook. But if you are going past that and you've got Facebook friends and you're doing and Way's going to tell you like, hey, this may come from left field kind of conversation, and they don't respond to you back, please don't take it personally. Don't take it personally. Think about right now, particularly the world of social is really blown up for everybody. People never advertised their business on Facebook like a year ago, like 6 months ago. Okay, when I say in the video that people are there's a lot more people self-employed, like I know because I've been watching Facebook. I've tended to do my marketing in a different way, but I've been on Facebook, and I remember being nervous and cautious and felt like I was being too salesy, putting on my Facebook profile a business picture of myself and that I was a health and beauty expert and a speaker and all of that kind of stuff, right? I felt like I was being salesy because it didn't seem like anybody on Facebook, even 6 months ago, was doing a lot on business. Now it's about 40% of people, at least, that ask me. I'm like, oh, they list their business, they list their business, they list their business, they list their business. So you've got people doing the exact same thing as you. You will have a higher ratio of people that'll never respond to you. It doesn't mean you don't send them another message. It doesn't mean that they are rejecting you. Right? They're not, they're busy. They're doing stuff, right? They're like, oh, there's an audio message. You know, we're all doing the same thing. Are you getting to every single platform? No. How many people getting to your dishes? I mean, come on. So I just want to let you know that your rejection level may be higher and you may think they're rejecting you, but it's not. It's just continuing going. Okay. It's just continuing going. And I tested myself today because I had 2 people that didn't reply to me. And I was like, you know, I had that own feeling. And so what did I do? I just sent them another message, right? Don't forget, 5 to 12 peaks of interest is when people are going to start to, they're like, oh, she sent me a message, nothing. Oh, she sent me an invitation, nothing. Oh, she sent me this, nothing. Oh, she wished me happy birthday. Oh, da, 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 da. Around the 5th or 6th time, they're like, who is this chick? And click through on the profile and just go, oh, that's kind of, oh, look at her pictures. Oh, that's kind of cool. Or maybe they're going to hop over to my Instagram and go, oh my God, she said she'd give me a free sample for my birthday. So like, hey, can I still get that? Like, it's all pipeline. It's all pipeline, right? Okay. So I just wanted to let you know that. And I just, I wanted to make some notes and see if there was anything that I wanted to add to that. So with that, I'm hoping everyone's kind of following me in terms of Facebook. There's 2 Facebook groups that are very prominent on the team training. And the cool thing is that we've lined up a lot of the same times so that you can stay in the group that you're in, right? So if you're in the Beauty and Wellness Club, cool. If you're in the Hub, cool. And Waymatea will talk about that. But a lot of times, so Waymatea is doing a presentation. We're going to be able to watch party it in this group and vice versa. So you can stay in the club that you're in, invite people there, and then they can be simultaneous. Can't talk today. It's like Jeff Olson trying to say world. He doesn't say W this very well. Simultaneously. Okay. So that's that. I'm going to have Waymatea come on and kind of share with you a little bit about her process of how she invites, what she says. It's not difficult. Feel free to write it down. This is recorded because most people's block is, I don't know what to say to people. So she's going to kind of go through that with you. It's on.
Thank you, Deb. Yeah, I just want to welcome everyone. If it's your first time to our team training, Deborah Drummond is our National Marketing Director. We are so very, very, very lucky to have such an amazing team that I loved what Deb said earlier, like maybe you want to learn how to do a presentation, but the presentations that are offered in our calendar and on these Facebook parties are like top-notch parties. They're incredible. And some of them are business and some of them are Facebook, sort of more party-ish. So before I started, what I was going to share is that no matter what party you're plugging into, and I loved what we did this yesterday in our meeting, if you're in the Beauty and Wellness Club, you'll have a watch party streaming in from my group, the Wellness Room. If you're in the Wellness Room, we'll have the Beauty and Wellness Club streaming in from, to the Wellness Room. So you can have one place where you're adding your prospects to. So here is a brilliant, brilliant thing. And this is what I want you to get out of this training more than anything else, is using your time wisely and in a layered fashion. Because when I first asked Puya how to set up a party page or a prospecting page, his acronym was ATM. And I don't know if you've watched the video or if you know about adding, tagging, and messaging, but the messaging part into the group, if you're in the Beauty and Wellness Club or if you're in the Wellness Room, the messaging part up until now, I've been saying in a text, hey, just added you to one of my a brand new group I have, hope that you'd stick around and have fun, and we have giveaways. I've been doing that for about a year. Now, what we're doing while we're doing ATM is we're actually adding them to a party, and then they stay in the prospecting group. So I really want you to understand that this is so big. We're adding them to a party with what the message I'm going to give to you, but they stick around to have the 12th exposure, the 15th exposure, the 25th exposure, so that a year later, and because you added them to the group, your name is what it says that you added them. So even if they added 5 people and those people added 5 people, we still can very, very, very easily and quickly trace it back to you. So if person 5 down says, hey, I'd like some eye serum, we can go and see that you added them. So you want to keep your prospects in one group. Please just know that this just keeps everything really easy to track. And so when they've been added to, for us, the parties are incredible. They're helping us to share with people in lots of different ways. We have lots of different fun. And so I wanted to share with you the message that I've been messaging to all these people. These are my lists. I went through my Facebook. Page and just clicked Edmonton, and there was like 1,000 names, okay, of my Edmonton friends. And I literally watched Grey's Anatomy and wrote 30 pages of names. That's, if anybody knows me, that's kind of how I approach things. I'm going to go all in or not at all. So I wrote 30 pages of names down because I know that could serve me for the next 6 months. Now I'm going to person number 1. I get very nervous reaching out to people. I want you to know this. But I have discovered that when I go into my Facebook Messenger and I go to person number 1, Michelle. Now, I got a big story about Michelle. We were at a party once. Maybe she doesn't like me anymore. I'm just letting myself off the hook for whatever relationship I think I have with Michelle. And I am letting it be whatever it is. That's the commitment I've made. So I'm going to message Michelle. I'm going to go into my Facebook Messenger, and I'm going to click on the little voice box thing there, this little microphone. It's an old-fashioned microphone. That's what that is, okay? So you go in there, so you click on there, and then it gives you an opportunity to start to record. Now, if you start and you're like, hi, it's Waymatea. Oh, forget it. Okay, so now I'm okay to cancel. I don't have to send it. So you just let yourself off the hook and try the first person like 10 times till you get a rhythm of what you want to say. But just know that you don't have to get it perfectly, because the less perfect it is, the more the person will be like, oh, it's just Way, she's being silly. So I have 59 seconds to record this message. And that's gotten me really tight. And Amy and I had a challenge the other day. We're like, I'm going to do 30 today. So, and then the more we did, the less time it took to say what we were going to say. So what the message is, it has 3 elements. A greeting, because we're going to be normal and make a connection. There's a lot going on in the world, and I say it. I'm like, hey, I hope you're doing well with everything that's going on, depending on who it is. The second part of it is the reason why I'm messaging you. And the third part of it is, I'm going to ask you if you will help me. So I say, I'll just record one right now because that's probably easiest just for me to do it. Okay, so. Hey, Stuart, it's Waymatea here. I hope that you're doing well with everything that's going on. Just messaging a little bit out of left field. I'm hoping that you would be open to attend a party I'm having on Facebook tomorrow at 8 o'clock Mountain Time. You know, it would be really helpful if you came and supported me. And what support looks like is not opening up your wallet, but actually just coming and saying hi on the video or asking 3 to 4 questions. It kind of warms up the party, helps people to feel safe to, you know, ask questions. And I would really appreciate that. So I hope that you will come. Let me know if it's a yes. And if it's a yes, I'll send you a link right away. Okay, take care. Bye. So then I'm not going to send that. But then that took about 45 seconds. I make sure I say it's a wellness party because a lot of people know me as a musician. Okay, because one person was like, oh, are you going to be performing? I'm like, oh, got to revamp what I'm saying. So I just want to be crystal clear and simple. And then I send it. And then as soon as I send the message, and it's okay that I sound awkward. I do sound like that on all my messages because it makes my stomach turn to do these, okay? So then I send it, and then I send a little message to say, hey, Stuart, just letting you know that that's really me on the message, smiley face. Because a lot of people are sending spam and you can get hacked with like some of the videos that people send. And so a lot of people won't listen to or watch a video in Messenger. So I just say, hey, and then I actually had a lady today go, oh, well, email me then. And then I was like, oh, you want me to email you a Facebook party? She's like, oh, Waymatea, I was just making sure it was you. So people are really hyper aware that they don't want to catch a virus. But the message then, what it's done for me, I wanted to show you. So all the pink highlighted ones are people that said yes to my party. And that's about 1 out of 2. That's about what I'm averaging. Now, there was a whole set of people that did not respond. Did that get me down? No, because the next day I came in and got, again, about 1 out of 2 people. And this is what I do. I draw when I'm nervous. I'm like, anyway, you have to get over it, right? Like, we just have to be okay with whatever this feels like. So this is where I'm at right now. And then I'm marking down which day they're going to come. And tonight we have a party at 8 o'clock. And we're going to send out a message like 15 minutes before. Here's the brilliant thing that I want everyone, I don't know if I'm allowed to share a screen. No, I can't. If you've invited the person from inside the group, then we've been able to tag you and admin can see who invited who. After you have done that inviting, you can go to the top browser window of the group and it's facebook.com/group/ the name of the group. And then right before the party, you just say, hey, can't wait to see you. We start in 10 minutes. Send them the link, and then they will be like, oh, then I don't have to look for it. Cool, I'm just gonna watch it, okay? So that's the message part, and I just wanna make sure I wrote a couple things I don't wanna miss before I wrap it up.
Project there for a minute?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so because in the group, the Beauty and Wellness Club, and I'm sure you do this the same thing, you make an announcement to everyone in the group that you're coming on in 10 minutes, but the people that are inviting, so I invited some people from Messenger today. I'm going to check back and see if they want to come, because then I said, oh, I'll send you the link. Mm-hmm. Now I take the link, and if you guys are looking, you can talk to myself and Caroline for the link, and you can talk to Waymatea for the link. This is a link that you're going to have. It's the same link. It never changes, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you're telling people to send that to their people about 10 minutes ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Hey, here, just a reminder, here's the link to the group.
Yeah.
So they're doing the thing, and we're actually the administration people of that group are actually sending out the reminder for everybody, correct?
Exactly. Yeah, because I actually don't always get to the post that says, hey, we're going live in 10 minutes. Yeah. So it's nice if everybody takes care of their own invited people. And then if your people said they were going to come and they don't come, guess what? You can tag them in the video of the party, because the party exists now. That's the extra leverage that we have, is that a party that took place at 8 o'clock is still relevant 2 weeks from now. You know, you can just tag them in the party. And the last thing that I was going to say is this 2-a-day thing now that we can do like 5 a day or 10 a day. Please don't ever make yourself feel badly if you didn't do your 2 and then feel like you have to go and do 4 or something. Just today, reaching out to 1 or 2 people, sending a message like this. But I will say, doing 10 in a row, like Deb just said, it takes me like an hour and a half to do 10, because that's how much anxiety I have around it, but it's getting shorter and shorter. And the more you do, the easier it will get. So if anybody wants any support after this call or anything to help to follow up with this, just feel free to copy it, but make it your own voice, because that's what makes this powerful. It's not like you're a robot. You're not saying, hi, I hope you're well. You're actually, hey, you know, I'm a little bit nervous right now. I'm sure you can tell my voice because I'm a little out of my comfort zone, but I'm wondering if you'll come to my party. That's way more genuine. And you, like whoever you are, just make sure that shines through.
So one of the things that I'm going to, are you good?
Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I want to let you guys know just from that, and I've kind of taken that spin off that came from Elaine, and then Waymatea made it her own, and then I took it. That's what we do, right? And I called someone today, and I could, because you can see in your messenger the last time you made contact. This one woman, I had sent her a happy birthday message, and so the message that I called for her today was like, hey, this is Deb. Hey, I know that we hadn't connected since your birthday. Want to make sure that, you know, hopefully everything's really cool for you. And this is, I know, coming completely out of left field, but look, I'm doing something completely different for my business because I'm pivoting the whole thing from this little interesting world shift we had. And honestly, I would just be really excited if you could come support and help make this new local, because she was a local person, this local party better than it's ever been. Don't worry about pulling out your wallet. I just am asking people to come in and comment it and did the same kind of thing, right? So, and if you would, that would be great. It's actually tomorrow, right? And so when I send my text, I'm like, hey, I've just invited you to a party tomorrow. Please let me know and I can, you know, send you more information or what have you. So I use the, hey, sometimes with some people, particularly if they're business people, I'm like, hey, this is a completely new way of doing business. Would love your support, you know, because she doesn't know me, right? She'd be like, support you, I'm, you know, you're a Facebook friend. So, and then sometimes I say it, I go, hey, Facebook friend, hey, my new Facebook friend. Okay, so that's awesome. Thank you very much for that. Yay, thank you very much for that. So I think we've kind of talked a lot about that, and I want to kind of wrap up with something that I'm getting from bits and pieces from people, and I'm getting a lot of calls around the idea of breaking international waters. Okay. And so we've talked a lot about what it was like to open up Canada, what it's like to open up Australia. We're really working hard and opening up, you know, Europe right now, and China's really opening up for our company. And, you know, we've got the Australian market being led by Puya, and he's really getting in and digging in for people that want to do there. We've got Kathy Aaron for Europe. There's groups that are being created. China is a big focus for our company right now. But I get contacted from people like, hey, my friend's in India, are we opening there? Oh my gosh, I have a friend in Dubai. He would just kill it. He's amazing. I have somebody here, I have somebody there, and all these kind of different people that we know in the different areas. And then people are like, hey, when are we opening? When are we opening? What can we do? What can we do? So if you are building in international waters, for you and your own ease, if you're choosing, choose countries that we're open in. One. So if you're choosing, if you're like, so for me, I chose Ireland. There's a reason why I chose Ireland, because I'm okay getting up at that time of night, or getting up in that morning, or moving my meetings to this time. I'm aware of their time zone. So if you're choosing, and also for me, you know, up until this little shift, you know, there is something about being on the ground. So, you know, you want to be able to build an organization that you or someone in your, you know, pipeline, uplines, you know, silo, whatever, may want to go there one day. If you really build a national marketing director in, I don't know, in Germany, are you willing to go support that national marketing director at some point? Those are the questions you ask yourself before you choose. Now, you may come across somebody, or someone in your world might go, wow, this is amazing. Like the gentleman that I happened to talk to on LinkedIn that happened to be from Brazil, and we're not there yet. So if he comes back to me with like, oh my gosh, I know 1,000 people in Brazil, I'm going to have this conversation as well, right? But he's in Vancouver, so we'll work that angle. But when someone wants to open up a country, just to let you know, Neora goes into a country that it is planning to open 2 years prior till we soft launch. And so what that means is the company is starting to research the culture, is starting to, you know, get into relationship with the government, it's starting to see what kind of products that can be brought there. It's a 2-year experience. And we don't really necessarily know when that dynamic starts. Sometimes as national marketing directors and above, we start to get, you know, we get like little meetings before conference and things like that where we start to hear and smell and sniff things. But the bottom line is there's a process. And then there's usually a soft launch. And a soft launch is an unofficial, we're open here, but we're not making it noticeable to the world, kind of like what they did with China. So China's been open for about a year. Now they're making this big official announcement to everybody, like, we're going hard in China. Who do you know in China? We've got meetings going on in China. There's a meeting that everybody can get onto if you're interested in breaking that market. And so when we go into countries, now, yes, there is an advantage for being the first in a country. No one's going to deny that. Definitely there was the first advantage in being in Canada when it was in, you know, the US and we were in Canada. But there's also a lot of pain that goes along with that. And pain, I mean patience, right? There's learning, there's curves, there's shipping, there's stuff that's not coming into your country. Sometimes it's creating translated videos. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. The advantage is when that country opens, you're at the top of the party. Absolutely. So you have to notice that if you're talking to somebody or you're asking someone to be part of your business, you want to know they have a little bit of virility, that they can handle that, right? Don't tell them it's going to be awful. It's not awful. It's just there's a high pay later. They have to be a little patient. One of the things is that if it's so I'm going to give you an example. There's a gentleman that I'm talking to that's from East India. Now, we're not open there yet, right? We're not open there yet. And so we're having this conversation about, I mean, we know in India that they love skincare. That's not, you know, and we also know that India is on the target for our company. That conversation has happened. I don't know the date, but, you know, my conversation with him is there's a huge Indo-Canadian community. Let's build that community here. There's a huge Indo-Canadian demographic in England. Let's build that there. There's a huge Indo-Canadian, you know, in every, you know, in all the provinces in the US, like if it's that. So I'm like, let's build there. So, you know, even if we just go to Vancouver, if we build in the Indo-Canadian culture here, and you've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 people by the time we open that country, can you imagine what would happen to your business if you, who had these people underneath, all went to India? You all opened up the first people, what the growth would be like. So those are the kind of conversations, because I'm getting a lot of people like, hey, I know somebody in this country, I know someone in this country, I know someone in this country, right? And it's the same thing as when we went to Ireland, we went to England, I mean, we were on the ground, right? And we had one person, and then we had 3 people, then we had 8, and someone knew someone in Scotland, and someone knew someone in the US, and it starts to build from that. And it is a very exciting time. It does take patience, it takes tenacity. You know, for me, it was a solid year of not even knowing, you know, there wasn't even talks of Canada when I first heard about the company. So there is that. So just know, if you are actively going for a country that's not open yet, or you come across somebody, the thing that I say to that person is, if they are in a country that is open, let's play there first to get your feet wet. Or if they are in that country, they might, if they're an expat, you know, sometimes people live in countries, but they've had, it's been shocking to me. Someone's lived in you know, when we had someone sign up in Europe, they had a Canadian social insurance number. I'm like, okay, well then, you know, we can play ball here, because they had a social insurance number for a country that's open. So if they have a social insurance number, or they may have a family member, I'm like, look, do you have a family member? Well, I have a mom in New York, and I'm in, you know, let's say I'm in Africa. Well, would you like to run your business with your mother? You know, is there a relationship that you have with a family member that can be the part of this business for you until at some point as we go into this other country? And so you're looking for those kind of links. Does, you know, for the people that are on, am I making sense a little bit? Is this making sense? Is this kind of taking that ease off of like, what do I do when I have somebody? Talk to them about, you know, are they able to sign up in the country that they are in? If that answer is a no, do they have somebody? Do they have an insurance number in another country that we can do it? Do they have somebody that would be willing to run their business with them, and then they can work out the relationship between how that money goes, and that's their conversation, and we can have that. Are they willing to prepare in the countries that they are to prepare for launching a country when it opens? And are they willing to have that tenacity? I mean, we've had people waiting in countries for a year or 2 years before we open up there, and they hung in there and they waited. So people will, and then, you know, you ship them product and you keep them happy and, you know, do that kind of thing. So Caroline or Waymatea, am I missing anything on that I need to share on that topic?
I found that very helpful. I've had a lot of people that, and you said it, the patience is what is keeping all of the new countries. We're just very fortunate that we have a lot of patient people that are very, very, you know, visionary. And I love that advice about, do you have a relationship or could you build it with somebody on Facebook, for example? You could be living in India, but you could join like mothers, you know, that breastfeed, that in the Indian community. Like there's there's just infinite groups to join and network with people that live in the country that we're open in, that you can use the relationship that you have with your community, you know. That's great.
And Caroline, did I miss anything? Is there anything else that I need to add to that, or you can add to that? You know, you guys can add.
No, I feel that you've said it all. I would just say the one thing that I would emphasize on is really be aware of the time zone. Be aware of the time zone and be prepared to get up early, get up in the middle of the night if you have to, or go to bed late. Because I've seen some people prospecting in other countries and then not being able to actually have meetings. So that it's actually sad when that happens. So yeah, but I think you've said it all. And you know, there's a big part that is organic growth. So we may make it sound a bit scary right now. My first international team was in Australia. You know, I picked like right the neighbor next door. And why it happened there was just like circumstantial. It did happen like that, but it's all steps, and we're all there to help. So it's feasible. It's not scary, but you have to be prepared to, you know, Jeff Olson always says there's a price to pay in everything you do. So you have to be willing to pay the price.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you for that. So again, I'm just going to put the word out there. If any of you feel like when you come to these Facebook parties, we are, you know, myself, Waymatea, I know Amy's doing a lot of support with Waymatea doing the party, so I don't want to forget about Amy because I haven't gone to see one of your parties yet. So thank you, Amy. And Caroline, we are open, you know, to having you. So if one of you feels like, hey, I'd love to say a comment, you know, I'd love to come into the Zoom and comment on, you know, I'd love for my people to see me. You know, I'd love for my people to see me and me talk about eye patches. You know, if you want to use a Facebook party as your business launch event and you want to come up to the Zoom boxes where, you know, me and Caroline are sitting or Waymatea and Amy sitting and say, hey, you know what, I'm just so happy that you guys have decided to, you know, come on in and, you know, I'm super happy about, you know, joining this business for whatever reason, you know, say what is your reason for, and this is all supposed to be able to having fun. So my business partners are going to take over and talk a little bit more because I don't know enough yet. But, you know, if you want to say something, if you want to welcome people, if you want to talk about a product, like we're going to encourage you to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, just like Waymatea. It's funny, you draw, I draw too, right? And so if you feel like you're ready, please don't sit there and think that you have to listen to us do all these parties. We would love to hear a testimonial. Testimonials are huge. You can't get a better. Do you guys want to know something? Because I'm writing a book right now, and because there's nothing else to do. So I'm writing this book, and I've been researching. Do you know that the books that we read, and you know the forewords and people endorsing and the back, the testimonies, do you know those people get paid for that? Do you know people? So if you want a book written and you want me to do a testimonial for you, I'm going to charge you. That's how powerful a testimonial is. So if one of you comes up and tells a testimonial about how each tea has, David talked about it on the last RRP, like it talked about, oh, my hair. I mean, Caroline like sits there with this gorgeous hair and goes, yeah, I love the hairline. And people are like, yeah, no kidding. Look at your hair. So people talk about testimonials. So please, even if you feel ready to do a testimonial, we want you. We want you, we would rather be backing you up, right? Than, doing all the talking to your people. Because
I just want to add that if you're not ready to volunteer, we'll go pick some people.
Okay.
Because we've decided that in June, there's some people joining us. So
yeah.
It's always easier when you volunteer, be the first one to jump. And like David, I know that you should be in the next ones very soon. Laura, Diane, and I'm going to stop saying names because I could say everyone, but jump.
I'm the good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, I'm the mean one. So I'm good with that. I have 3 kids that repeat it to me, so I'm totally fine with it.
Can I add one more thing to this?
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's funny to think of you as a bad cop, but if you if you haven't got your box yet and you're coming on to welcome your people to, like if you're in our group, we call it hosting, like if you're hosting with us, your testimonial about how you have been supported by the team is so powerful to just say to people, because we often say the best product in the whole company is the business. So your testimonial that, hi everybody, welcome to the party. This is my first time being here, but I can't even tell you how it feels to be with such a supportive group that would help me to have my launch party. Because what that is doing is showing your guests that they could do this with complete support and would never have to figure this out on their own. And that's the biggest testimonial you can give, is just by being there, shaking if you're nervous, and just even saying hi and then coming off camera. That's enough to let people know, oh, I could totally say hi. Right? So it's nice if you put that in there too.
And so we're going to finish off with some final pieces of some third-party tools that I don't want you to forget about. I have these envelopes. I'm mailing people catalogs right now. I'm mailing them samples of the Youth Factor. So I'm still getting that catalog into people's hands as things start to ease up. I'm still shipping products to people to try. Right? Sample packages are coming. They're producing as fast as they can. I've had some. I went and bought extra IV moisture patches. I filled my ADO with IV moisture patches because I can send those to 5 people with a catalog and a personal letter saying, thank you, or hey, I'm so happy to send you a happy birthday gift or whatever. So third party, we are still available for one-on-ones, like those third party calls where you're calling your girlfriend or your guy friend or your business friend or whatever and saying, hey, you know what? I'm super excited. I don't know a whole lot. I know you couldn't make it to my Facebook party. I know you couldn't make it to my business event, but I'd love for you to chat, I'd love to tell you more about what I'm doing. I don't know everything yet. So do you mind if I have Waymatea on with me? She's my business partner. You may ask the question that I don't know about, and I'd rather her answer it than me. And people are like, cool with that. So that's called a third-party tool. So we have tools, third-party tools. Videos are still third-party. You can still send videos to people. There's been people on LinkedIn, they're like, yeah, I can't make it. I'm like, can I send you a video? They're like, yeah, they usually ask me to watch one of theirs and do. So I'm like, okay, I'll send you this 8-minute video. I'll send you a 7-minute video. I'll send you an 11-minute video. I always talk about how time it takes. Because when someone sends me a video, I'm like, oh my God, I hope this isn't 45 minutes, So they send me like a short compact. I'm like, hey, look at da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. And I always offer them something for watching the video. Tell me what product you like. I'll send you out one of our best-selling products. And I'm going to send them an IV patch. Why? Because that's what I have. I'll send them that and Youth Factor. I'm selling a lot of Youth Factor based on sending out 3 to 5 packages for people to try. Just to let you know. So I just want you to remember there are other third-party tools, your upline, your magazines, your products, right? Facebook parties are a big hit right now, but so is picking up the phone and having a good conversation with one of your pals. So that I want to keep it to the hour. This is our team training. We'll be having one of these every month, as we have for many, 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 many years. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on. I know that carving out time for training is a dedication. And so I really appreciate it. It's nice to see other faces on the side of the screen. That's not talking to myself. And I just want to tell everybody just how proud I am of this team and this organization. And I really, 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 really hope that you all make the effort, find the way to get to conference. We'll talk more about that in September, but it's just a beautiful thing. So thank you for your time. Thank you for charming in Waymatea and Caroline. And thank you, Laura. And that's it. That's all. So that's all, folks.
Thank you, Deb. You're amazing
Awesome.
as always.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Training.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Deb.
Thank you.
Bye.